Hello and welcome to this video. In the other video, we create a user and the context for our Kubernetes. But we saw that that user couldn't access the Kubernetes. As we can see here, let's change the context and get the pod. Okay, instead that Sina can't list resources pods. Now in this video, we want to create a role and the role binding to that user can see the pods. Actually, we're going to set a read-only access to the Sina user. To define a new roles and role bindings, you need a context that allows to creating and modifying role or role binding. That is cluster admin or admin. Now I'm going to change my context. Config use context minikube. Okay, now I have access. So first I need to create a role. I'm going to create a role that's name read only and the verb is list get watch. For the mentioning the verb, you need to say dash dash verb and separate by the comma with the list get or other things needs to access. And the resources here I said pod, deployment and the services. We can see that role, describe role and read only. Okay, now we can see here there is a resource pod that access the list get watch and the services list get watch. If we want to see the YAML file for the that role, get role read only and dash o YAML. We can see here that's how we can set as a YAML file. It needs to create a list of the resources with their verbs and set the API group empty for the pods and the others. But for the deployment, the API group for the deployment is apps. And if you want to access the all resources or all the web, you can set a star here. After that, we need to create a role binding. Create a role binding that's named the read-only binding. That's I need to remove one of the A here. And the role name is read-only for the user Sina. Now, if we check the role binding with the describe role binding for the read-only role binding, that's the name. Here we say that our name is read-only binding and the role is read-only for the user Sina. Now we can see here for the subject, that's a user. We know that the user is unique and we don't have a namespace for that user. But if the service account, it's have a namespace here. And there's a kind role and the role binding. Now, if we change our context to the that user, that's that context, Sina context, kube config use context, Sina context, and the get pod, we can see that now Sina can access to the pods. If you want to check that it's not admin, for example, get node, we can see that the node, this user can't access to the node. The other things that you can check as an administrator or as a user, for example, you want to check that the Sina user access to the which stuff can list which resources. Let's back to the minikube context. Here we can use the kubectl out can I dash dash list, and as a CNAME. Here we can see that the CNAME can list, get, watch for the pods, services, and the deployments app. And this one is because of the API groups for the deployments is different to the others. If you use the command line, you don't need to mention the API groups. So here we can see that this user can list get watch for these resources here, and also the user can access to the APIs to send a request. That's administrator needs to see that check that user permission with the CKA command. The commands give you the option of the list of the permissions.